Each year, our pets consume more than 50 million tons of kibble globally. It is the animal food most common in any household, and it is not a coincidence. Its low price, its long duration, and that artificially irresistible smell for our furry friends have made it the #1 option for millions of owners. But have you ever asked yourself how it is produced really? Is it true that it is full of chemicals and low-quality meat scraps that could be making our pets sick? Well, today we will travel to Ohio, United States, home to one of the largest production plants of animal food on the planet. A place where every day more than 200 tons of ingredients are processed to manufacture the kibble that millions of animals anxiously devour. So get ready, because you are about to discover how your pet's favorite food is mass-manufactured. Let's begin. Step number 1. Reception and selection of ingredients. Everything begins much before a kibble falls into your pet's dish. Every day, an avalanche of enormous industrial trucks arrives at the processing plants loaded with tons of fresh ingredients that will soon become food for millions of animals. In just one day, more than 300 tons of raw material can enter, enough to fill more than 30,000 bags, an authentic industrial brutality. The standard kibble formula includes a precise mixture of processed meat, animal remains such as bones, cartilage, or viscera, cereals like corn and wheat, in addition to vitamins, minerals, and nutritional additives. It is a combination designed to maximize the protein and energy value. It is not a premium diet, but neither is it so bad as to make your pet sick. It is simply functional, cheap, and simple. Everything arrives raw, unprocessed, and in colossal quantities. Therefore, each batch is inspected in detail by specialized operators and automated sensors that verify that everything is exactly as required by each brand. If something does not comply with the standards, it is discarded without hesitation, because an error here can translate into thousands of sick animals globally. But if everything is correct, the ingredients are stored in enormous stainless steel tanks and are ready to begin their true transformation. Step number 2. Grinding and mixing of the formula. With all the ingredients already stored and verified, it is time to unite them and give life to the formula that will feed millions of pets. The tons of meat, bones, cartilage, and cereals are poured into large industrial grinders that turn at thousands of revolutions per minute, crushing everything until converting it into a thick and nutritious paste. A kind of hot and sticky modeling clay that will soon become kibble. At the same time, liquid ingredients such as animal fats, vegetable oils, and vitamins are introduced into large thermal tanks, where they will be heated to more than 120 degrees to achieve the perfect viscosity that will allow them to be mixed with the solid mass. Once ready, all the components are pumped under pressure towards colossal mixers, capable of moving thousands of kilos per minute inside. Enormous stainless steel paddles turn non-stop, fusing the ingredients with millimetric precision. The objective is clear, that each kibble has exactly the same quantity of nutrients, regardless of the day, the batch, or the production shift. The resulting mass is no longer a pile of ground ingredients. Now it is a compact, uniform, and perfectly balanced formula, ready to become millions of small kibbles. Step number 3. Extrusion and formation of kibble. With the perfectly mixed mass, the time has arrived to give it shape. All that dense and nutritious material is introduced into an industrial extruder, a colossal machine that applies pressure, heat, and cutting to convert the paste into millions of perfectly molded kibbles. Inside, the mass is pushed through heated metallic tubes that reach more than 150 degrees Celsius. This heat not only partially cooks the food, but also eliminates bacteria, improves your pet's digestion, and activates the natural flavors of the formula, making it irresistible. Upon reaching the end of the conduit, the mass is shot out through a nozzle with hundreds of grooves. Each groove shapes a distinct type of kibble, round, flat, or with curved edges according to the brand or the type of animal. And right at that instant, a rotating blade at extreme speeds cuts each portion in milliseconds. The result is a continuous rain of soft, hot, and perfectly formed kibbles, falling non-stop as if they came out of a food printer on an industrial scale. A single extruder can produce more than 1,000 kilos per hour. And the best thing is that each kibble comes out identical, ready to move on to its next process. Step number 4. Drying and hardening. The kibbles freshly out of the extruder are hot, humid, and fragile. If you touch them at this point, they would fall apart like cooked modeling clay. Therefore, one of the most delicate phases now begins: industrial drying. Millions of kibbles advance through gigantic thermal tunnels, similar to horizontal ovens, where they receive a constant flow of hot air at more than 90 degrees for several minutes. This heat eliminates internal humidity, destroys possible remaining bacteria, and transforms that soft mass into a crunchy, firm structure resistant to storage. But the process is extremely delicate. If they are over-dried, they break and lose nutrients. If they are under-dried, they can develop mold or become contaminated. Therefore, humidity and temperature sensors monitor everything in real time, adjusting every second so that the result is perfect. Upon leaving the tunnel, the kibbles already have their definitive shape: small, golden, and with that characteristic crunch that makes them irresistible to any dog or cat. But they still lack the final touch that will convert them into an addictive bite, even for the most demanding palate. Step number 5. Coating and flavoring. The kibbles are already dry, hard, and ready, but still almost do not taste or smell like anything. It is at this moment when one of the most important phases of the entire process occurs: the coating. The hot kibbles are poured inside large rotating drums, similar to gigantic industrial washing machines. As they rotate at high speed, automated nozzles spray a liquid mixture loaded with aromas and flavoring compounds, known as pelletants, specifically designed to stimulate the animal's sense of smell and make the kibble smell, literally, like a delicacy for any pet. That aroma so strong that comes out when opening a bag of feed is born exactly here. And it is so perfectly designed that not even the most selective animal can resist it. Upon finishing, the kibbles are carefully cooled so that this coating remains well sealed and is not lost during transport or storage. Now yes, they have the smell, the flavor, and the texture that make them addictive, but before arriving at your house, they must pass the most demanding test. Step number 6. Quality control and safety tests. Here it is not enough that they smell good or look appetizing. Each batch represents the direct feeding of thousands of animals globally, and a single error, however minimal it may be, could cause mass intoxications, diseases, or even deaths. Therefore, the surveillance is total. At this point, the plant's internal laboratories come into action. Specialized technicians extract random samples from the daily production and subject them to a series of tests. It is analyzed that each kibble contains the exact dose of protein, fat, humidity, and minerals. It is detected if there are remnants of toxins, dangerous bacteria, or even heavy metals that may have remained from the processing. And what happens inside a dog's or cat's stomach is artificially recreated to verify that the nutrients really are absorbed and fulfill what the label promises. In other words, it is checked if the food really nourishes or only pretends to do so. Finally, random samples are selected and offered to groups of dogs and cats of different breeds and sizes to see if they really accept them, devour them, or reject them. Only if all the tests are passed do the kibbles receive the final approval and are ready to be packaged. Step number 7. Packaging and global distribution. Once all the controls have been passed, the kibbles are now ready to be packaged in their classic multicolored bags. Millions of units advance along conveyor belts towards enormous automatic bagging machines. There, optical sensors detect in real time the shape, weight, and volume of the product to fill with surgical precision each bag, whether it is 1, 3, 5, or up to 15 kilos per unit. Each container is manufactured with special materials that not only conserve the aroma and freshness, but also block humidity, oxygen, and UV rays, ensuring a long shelf life without losing quality. Once sealed, the bags fall into automatic palletizers that stack thousands of units per hour, as if they were pieces of a gigantic puzzle. These product towers are packed, labeled with traceability codes, and loaded onto refrigerated trucks or large containers for their global distribution. From a plant of this type, more than 1,000 tons of kibble can leave every day, ready to reach supermarkets, specialized stores, or directly to the door of your house. And so, after a millimetric industrial process, a handful of flour, processed meat, and animal byproducts are converted into the daily food of millions of dogs and cats on the entire planet. To finish, tell us, did you imagine this entire process? Will you continue feeding your furry friend with this type of food? Leave us your answer in the comments, and if you like this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe, and activate the bell so you don't miss the next tour of the factory.